Hello and welcome back to another episode of my weekly market overview. It's the 31st of May 2026. Let's get straight into it. So first and foremost, I just want to quickly document a trade that I forgot to document in last week's video and made a mistake where I said that I hadn't taken any trades last week. This one got past me when I was putting together the script for last week's video. I actually took a short on Marsh insurance. Now it's quite keen to start adding short positions to my repertoire, and I noticed that the insurance brokers industry within the finance sector was really weak. Marsh Insurance stood out quite strongly because it was putting this big push to the downside. It had pulled back. There was a red flag in that it breached a 20 moving average. I like to take trades that bounce off of the 20 moving average, as I'm sure you've heard me mention before. So that was a break of my rules. Also, primarily, I shouldn't have been in shorts because I haven't got sufficient data to back up my strategy for taking shorts. So I'm not ready to start taking these trades yet. This was a bit of a FOMO. 20 moving average was breached. And then I entered on I believe it was the 21st of May, Thursday. Price went sideways, tapped out a full stop loss, and then sod's law went on to be what would be a profitable trade. So yeah. That's a trade that I took. I forgot to document it in last week's video. Just wanted to get it in this week's video so it wasn't forgotten about. It was a bad move altogether. It's a trade I shouldn't have been in. It was a very low risk trade. 0.35% I believe was the amount that I was exposed on this trade. I won't be taking any more shorts for the time being, and I think I took one on Tesla a few weeks ago and I think that one was a win, and then obviously this one on Marsh. But I don't have enough data to back up my strategy. I need to do a lot more back testing and forward testing before I add shorting to my repertoire. This one broke another major rule in that it breached a 20 moving average. So yeah, this was a rubbish trade. Never should have been in it. We live and we learn and we move on. Moving on to the one trade that I took last week, and that was in Texas Instruments. I believe I mentioned this setup in last week's video. I like the way that price was riding the 20 moving average and accumulating really nicely and squeezing up against the 20 MA. It did put in this big push to the upside. That was on Friday. I entered a buy stop order on the weekend, which executed on Tuesday for me because Monday was bank holiday. Price went really nicely into profit, but then turned around. Thankfully, I'd managed this position as per my rules and brought the stop loss up to break even. So this was not a loss at all. It was a really nice trade. I'm really happy with it. It's just a shame it didn't work out. Let's take a closer look at the wider US stock market, starting off with the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100. Now, these two are very much extended at the minute. Both of them have put in big pushes to the upside since around middle of May. They have just been continuously moving to the upside. I think there's a lot of earnings coming out at the minute. We are in earnings season, and that's fueling this big push at the minute. So are we going to see a pullback? Probably. When are we going to see it? Who knows? So let's take a look at the individual sectors and market leaders within each one for the next segment. Everyone's favorite sector is the tech sector at the minute. It's been parabolic for some time now. We are putting in all-time highs at the minute as well. It is currently very extended. Again, potentially a pullback due, but we don't know when. So all we can do is keep looking for those market leaders within the sector and keep picking off buys. So let's take a closer look at some of the ones that I've identified for this video. I'm sure I've mentioned this stock in previous videos. Seagate is a fantastic asset. Look at how it puts in consistent high highs and high lows. It is currently very extended. It looks like it potentially might have started a pullback. So if it comes back near the 20 moving average and puts some strong price action in to the upside, we'll be looking for buys on this one. Cadence Design is another one that has put in a big push to the upside. Currently a little bit sideways and consolidating, potentially another push to the upside. If we get breaks of these highs here, then I'll be looking for buys in this one as well. Lam Research is another beautiful looking stock. Really nice clean price action. High highs, high lows, high highs, high lows, and currently it's putting a high high, potentially building up a pullback at the minute. So we'll look to see if we get a pullback to the 20 moving average and then continuations. Western Digital is another one. I love this stock. I love this chart. Big push to the upside. Really nice pullback. Another extension. Hopefully we're getting a pullback at the minute and an opportunity to get back in for more buys in Western Digital, as this stock is doing fantastic. NXP Semiconductors is another one that I want to mention. It's kind of choppy, putting these big bars here. These were earning bars, but it has consolidated really nicely at the 20 moving average, which is something that I like to see. And it's putting in a big push to the upside. Currently in a pullback, again, something I like to see. Hopefully we get some bullish price action and breaks of highs, and we'll look to get back into this one as well. Intel was the last one on my list for the tech sector. It's putting this parabolic move to the upside, has pulled back, and is hovering around the 20 moving average, which is something that I like to see. Again, if we get breaks of these highs, it could be an opportunity for continuations. So I'll be keeping a track of this one as well. Next, we take a quick look at the communications sector. I mean, I haven't traded a stock in this sector for some time now. It is very much a sideways asset. This ETF has been ranging since around October last year, and the market leaders are lagging within this one as well. So I don't really have any stocks that I've identified that interest me. Google was one that looked really nice for some time, but it has started putting a bit more of a comprehensive pullback. So I'll not be tracking this one for the time being. Next, we move on to consumer discretionary. Now, the ETF itself doesn't look brilliant. We had this push to the downside, and now we've had this big push to the upside and consolidation. This is the bit that doesn't look too attractive. If we take a look at a couple of stocks that I've identified within this sector, the first one being Marriott. I'm sure this featured in last week's video. It's been putting in reasonably consistent 52-week highs. We've currently got this big push to the upside and a pullback to the 20 moving average. Potential continuations. Ross Stores, this is a phenomenal looking chart. It's been putting in really nice clean action as far back as I can scroll back since July 2025. It's just been so clean, so perfect. I wish I was trading stocks back then. This one would have paid really nicely. Now, we've had a bit more of an aggressive pullback, probably in anticipation of earnings, which ended up putting in new highs. We're currently in a pullback and we're getting bullish price action. So I'm watching this one really closely. If we get breaks of these highs, this one definitely has my attention for the next few days. Next, we move on to consumer staples. Now, this is not an ETF that I like to trade generally, just because it's full of stocks that are quite slow movers. They are very defensive stocks. Brilliant when the stock market is in a downward trend, in a massive pullback, and times are bad. The staples sector moves really nicely, but otherwise it's just full of slow and boring stocks. But the exception at the minute is Monster Energy. Now, this stock again is another fantastic looking chart. You look at these consistent clean high highs and high lows. We had this huge pullback, and now we seem like we're back in some kind of bullish trend at the minute. We're getting really nice clean price action. If this chart breaks this high, I'm definitely looking for buys in this chart. Monster Energy looks absolutely amazing and has my attention for the week ahead. Next, we move on to the finance sector. Now, this sector doesn't look nice at all. If we look at the ETF chart, it's just really choppy, it's rangy, it's not special, it doesn't encourage any confidence. But if we look deeper within this sector, there are some real strong market leaders. One of them being the Bank of New York. This one put in some really nice price action recently. It did breach the 20 moving average, but it has put in 52-week highs, all-time highs recently. It is outperforming massively. So it's a little bit on the choppy side. It does go through periods where it trends really nicely, but then it does really choppy stuff. I'm not sure if I'm going to trade this one, but I'm certainly going to keep a close eye on it, just because I do like the look of more than half of the chart. So it could potentially be a low risk opportunity that I'll track for the next few days. State Street Corporation is another one that flags up on my radar. It's putting this huge push to the upside, really nice consolidation, really nice constriction here and new highs. So if we get a break of this level here, then again, this is another one that has my attention. It's quite a nice looking chart recently, and historically has put in some pretty decent trend. So one to watch. Principal Finance is another stock that flagged on my screening process this week. Look at this one. It's putting really nice, strong push to the upside. It's putting in reasonably clean price action. It is a little bit choppy at times, but what I like is that it rides a 20 moving average and doesn't breach it or doesn't close below it. So that's nice to see. It's currently done another push to the upside and it's consolidating again. If we get breaks of these highs, this could be one to watch as well. Two more I want to mention, but these two are currently extended, so I need to wait for a pullback on both of these. These are Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley. Big pushes to the upside, 52-week highs, all-time highs, very strong stocks. If we look at Morgan Stanley as well, looks identical. It's just putting a huge push to the upside. We need a pullback and a consolidation on this one. As soon as we get that, potentially a really nice stock to look for continuations and long positions. Next, we move on to the healthcare sector. Now, this ETF, again, is another one that doesn't inspire a ton of confidence. But if you zoom in a little bit, it is currently putting in this 4-hour bullish price action. It's not perfect. It's certainly not clean, but it is high highs and high lows. So yeah, this is an interesting one. And I do believe in recent videos, we were watching United Health and CNC. I didn't get positions in those, unfortunately, but the one that does stand out quite strongly is Eli Lilly. Is putting this huge push to the upside, 52-week highs, all-time highs, really nice clean price action. We're currently in what looks like somewhat of a pullback. So all we need is a few more red candles and then potential continuations. Really nice looking stock in what is otherwise a bit of a mixed bag of a sector, but this stock is definitely a market leader within the healthcare sector, one to watch closely. Next, we move on to the energy sector. Absolutely no stocks screened successfully for this sector this week, which is a surprise because it has been a fantastic sector otherwise in recent months because what's going on in the world with Iran. Currently, if we look at the ETF, it's really choppy, and this has been dragged left, right and centre by the prices of oil. We certainly haven't identified this week any stocks that are trending nicely and making those 52-week highs or all-time highs. So I just wanted to quickly look at the Brent crude chart just to give some perspective. Really choppy, and Brent crude prices are dropping at the minute, which is a good thing for the rest of us because our petrol prices will go down and other costs will hopefully go down. But unfortunately for the energy sector, this means the stocks within this sector will take a bit of a hit. So energy sector is not happening at the minute. We'll sit out and watch to see if this one starts trending again in the future. Next, we look at the industrial sector. Again, an ETF that doesn't inspire much confidence, really, really choppy, nothing to write home about in this one. But there are a couple of market leaders that need mentioning. The first one is Delta Airlines. Now, I don't really like the way this one trends. It's super, super choppy, but it has put in this 52-week high, all-time high, huge push to the upside. So am I going to trade it? Probably not, but I just really wanted to show this chart and that there are some serious market leaders, even with the industrial sector. This one is moving really nicely. It just doesn't meet my criteria, unfortunately. It's way too much of a choppy stock for me to look for entries. So one that I'll probably get whipsawed out of, stop loss hit every time. So I'm not interested. FedEx, on the other hand, fantastic stock. It has periods of absolutely stunning trending. Look at it, consistent, clean and beautiful, big pushes to the upside. More recently, it's been really choppy, and I remember saying in a recent video that if this made a big push to the upside and started trending again, then I'd be really, really interested. It kind of tried it, but it backed off. And then now more recently, this last few days, it has put in 52-week highs and all-time highs. So let's see. If this one pulls back and starts doing something that looks more like this, what it did in sort of the tail end of 2025, then I'll certainly be interested in FedEx going forwards. Next, we move on to the building materials sector. Again, another sector ETF that just looks really awful, really choppy, but some hidden gems inside this one. They have been mentioned in previous videos. Unfortunately, I missed both entries. So we have NUE, Nucor Corporation, and Steel Dynamics. These are trending really nicely to the upside. Both of them look really similar. This one looks really nice because it was just sitting on the 20 moving average for some time. If it breached this high, I probably would have entered, but it didn't. It did more of a comprehensive pullback and then put in the big push to the upside. I'm definitely watching these two just because they're moving really, really nicely. Building materials is not a sector that I typically want to trade, but you can't hide from the fact that it's got some really nice market leaders in it. So I'll be watching these two really closely. That's it for this week. So we've identified several really nice market leaders to watch closely for the next few days. Obviously, the tech sector is doing fantastically well. And then there's some hidden gems, as I've shown you, in the other industries and sectors as well that are worth watching. So yeah, I'll be doing my best to keep a track of everything and trying to get some decent wins in this week. Let's see what the week gives. I'm also looking to potentially add a midweek video. I'm not sure what the schedule's like this Wednesday, but if I can get one in on Wednesday, I will. But that is something that I want to do on a permanent basis going forward. So I'll be looking to start that soon. So keep an eye out for those videos as well. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll catch you on the next one.